Hello, and welcome to this Birthing Better course that Common Knowledge Trust is creating for ICPA. We can all agree that childbirth is extremely complex to discuss. It exists individually, within a geographical location, as well as universally throughout time and place. It's existentially important. 100% of pregnant women will give birth, whether it's a termination, a miscarriage, a surgical birth, or a vaginal birth. It's one-off. It's infrequent, even if a woman has 20 children. Dramatic, even if it's orgasmic and easy. It can't be replayed. It's life-transforming, and the memories of each birth lasts a lifetime. Each pregnant woman does the activity of birthing her baby by herself. Literally, no one else does it for her. And this takes place in all cultures and in all of the diverse maternity systems and health systems. Whether the woman loves or hates the activity, whether it's easy or very hard, whether she suffers or feels orgasmic, whether there's a good outcome or not, and whether she and the baby recover in the short term, medium, and long term or not. It is always an individual experience that exists locally, culturally, and within health systems. The goal of this course is to inspire you, ICPA member, to be the 100th monkey and the tipping point for a new or revitalized childbirth concept or trend. It will be new if you're young, and if you're my age, you will recognize it as a potential childbirth trend that could have developed in the 1970s in the United States. This new or revitalized childbirth concept or trend is to grow a self-learning, birth, and coaching skilled birthing population in your area and globally. We are where we are because of what's gone on before, and to do better, we have to know how. You need to know more of how we got here. Your clients don't. For change to occur, you have to be very, very clear in your own mind about this, and also very clear with your clients. Common sense has to lead to their participation. This Birthing Better course is a gift that our New Zealand nonprofit Common Knowledge Trust is giving to ICPA with the hopes to inspire members like yourself to adopt this new childbirth concept and trend for all births without exception by inspiring your families to take time in pregnancy to self-learn birth and birth coaching skills and then use those skills to work through the activity of birthing their baby. This course is chock-a-block. Common Knowledge Trust believes when you know more, you will want to participate. I'm going to explain to you about the 3 global health approaches that interface and separate, and each of those deals with the 3 global childbirth goals. I'm going to talk about the diverse childbirth concepts or trends that brought us here, the desired goals and results that each concept put forward, and the successes and gaps. You're also going to learn about the 2 phases of this pilot project that will spread this new revitalized concept into your community and beyond, and how to implement it effectively. I'm also going to tell you about New Zealand's amazing midwifery-led maternity system, and so much more. I'm the director for our New Zealand nonprofit Common Knowledge Trust. You don't know me, but I sat on Jeannie's shelf for 2 decades inside the pink kit box, which is one of the 4 Birthing Better skills. My name is Wintergreen, and I became involved in birth 50 years ago in the U.S. I've spent 20 years of my life working in traditional communities, not involved in birth, but it's around. I'm a body worker. I was one of the first few hundred kinesiology instructors in the early 1970s, and then I studied orthobionomy. I worked with disabilities, athletes, pregnant women, and other body issues. My early involvement from the 70s to the 90s in childbirth didn't come from any political interest. I've never had an interest in the politics of childbirth. I gave birth in the U.S. in 1970 during one of those childbirth concepts or trends. And I gave birth last in the U.S. in 1982 when there was a different childbirth concept and trend. And this concept began to develop between these trends and why we hoped that it would take off instead of going in the direction it has. And that will all be explained to you. So who is we? From the 70s to the 90s, hundreds of fathers and mothers and I developed the concept we are encouraging ICPA members to enliven into their clients. And during that same 30-year period, from the 70s to the 90s, hundreds of fathers and mothers and I developed the 4 skill sets in birthing better. From the 70s to the 90s, I shared both the concept and skills nationally and internationally. From the 90s to 2020, I immigrated to New Zealand in 95, and I set up Common Knowledge Trust in 96. The mission statement for our trust is for you and your family and your society to use any and all health and wellness systems that you want without prejudice. And in New Zealand from 1996 to 2020, via Common Knowledge Trust, I worked to strengthen the New Zealand Midwifery Partnership and to bring all of the Birthing Better skills into mixed media resources. The Pink Kit was launched in 2000. The courses are now online. From 2020 into the present, I've corresponded with John Ohm, the editor of Pathways, and he suggested a collaboration. And Justin mentioned that collaboration in your conference recently. They could see the benefit of bringing forward a generational change in a childbirth concept. Common Knowledge Trust has been working to achieve that on a global scale. We all know that the birth of a baby is important to each family. We know 100% of pregnant women are going to give birth one way or another. We know it's an activity. And for those of us who have used birth and birth coaching skills to do that activity, with a strong emphasis on father or other being a skilled birth coach, we have all birthed better in all circumstances in our baby's birth. So in other words, as you learn about this 2-phase pilot project, and broadly speaking, we are asking you to emphasize to your clients the importance of becoming skilled. And we have a handout. And that handout can be adapted into all locations. And we ask that you follow a simple protocol. And we'll explain that in the video on the pilot project, because that protocol can lead ICPA to further research. Of course, you should support women's choices when available. You may be aware that the majority of women worldwide lack choices when it comes to pregnancy and birth, and where women do have choices, often choices change. In fact, in the 50 years I've been involved in birth, I've spoken to tens and thousands of women globally, and I can honestly tell you that 99.9% of us felt that our birth was nothing like we had imagined. So we're asking you to explain to your clients that skills work even when there's a lack of choices or they change. In other words, making certain that your clients understand that skills are what you use as you do the activity of birthing your baby, and choices are what you want or don't want. We had an opportunity between the 70s and the 80s to bring skills and choices together, and I'll explain in another video why that didn't happen. ICPA and Common Knowledge Trust are a great fit to lead the way to a new trend in childbirth, based on the 2 branches of salutogenesis. ICPA activates the organizational branch of salutogenesis. You pride yourself on being an organization that focuses on health and well-being rather than being a pathological model of healthcare. Until Justin mentioned the word salutogenesis, I'd never heard of it. But when he did, and I did a little bit of research, I realized that Common Knowledge Trust from the start has always activated the other branch of salutogenesis that encourages each individual to have resources in order to meet life stresses. And pregnancy and childbirth certainly are. ICPA brings bodywork professionals. You work with pregnant women, impact birth preparation, birth experience, and birth recovery. And you are global. And that's why we believe that your organization is perfect to be the 100th monkey that Justin mentioned in the conference, or the tipping point for this newer revitalized childbirth trend. You work individually within something that is universal, pregnancy and childbirth. Both the concept and skills developed by hundreds of fathers and mothers and myself are focused on self-implementation within all of the health and childbirth systems. Because the concept and the Birthing Better skills are universal that each individual can use for their birth. I want to just clarify the name of this course, which is Birthing Better, and our skills, which is also called Birthing Better. John named this course, and he reminded me that this course is a capital B birthing and a capital B better. It is based on this childbirth concept. When we have self-learned birth and birth coaching skills and use those skills in our baby's birth, we all birth better. In other words, skilled birthing populations just birth better. Everyone should be able to birth better when they use the skills they have self-learned. And it is inclusive of all skills-based methods. And Birthing Better skills is just one of the many skills-based methods now available to people. This introduction actually is divided into 4 parts. The video you're watching now, and 3 other videos. And I'd like you to watch those 3 other videos in this order. The first video I'd like you to watch is about the 3 global healthcare systems and how they address the 3 global birth goals. The second video I'd like you to watch are about the diverse childbirth concepts. The ones you know or want, the 3 I know, and the one that Birthing Better Families and I developed in the early 1970s and have promoted for the past 50 years. You'll also learn how these childbirth concepts strive to impact these 3 global birth goals, and how this new childbirth concept impacts these 3 childbirth goals. And the third video I'd like you to watch is about the pilot project and how to activate this new concept in phase 1 and phase 2. The pilot project will run for 2 years. Phase 1 will be an initial 6 months before you're welcome to join in phase 2 if you choose to. But you will continue to phase 1 for a 2-year period if you choose to do so. Together, we can light the fire of change in the belly of families toward their coming birth. You can start the message worldwide and ask each of your clients then to carry it onwards to their friends and family and via social media. The role of Common Knowledge Trust is to show you exactly how to bring forth this change in both phase 1 and phase 2 of this 2-year pilot project and to answer your questions. It's not hard to do, yet it is very specific. We will bring you simple ways to do it, just as you will be able to bring simple ways to your clients to do it as well.